Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are looking at the Hollywood box office, looking at the slate of films that are still set to come out. Can any of them save the box office? Because it's bad out there. It's really bad. So
Yeah.
Caleb, before we get into that, how you been doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hey there, what's up, Trip and Orc? How you doing? So I'm doing well. Um, it has been quite a week, as far as work goes. Uh, so I slept in last week, last Sunday until like I don't know, I maybe like noon. I missed church. It honestly just threw off my whole week. I don't know if you start off your week doing something you don't normally do. Maybe maybe this like is a sign of a little bit of mental abnormality in my head. Because maybe some people can deal with a change at the beginning of their week, but I don't know. At the beginning of my week, just kind of throws the rest of my week off. So, uh, yeah, so it was kind of an odd week. Played some more Destiny. Destiny's just kind of like what I do with my friends at this point. We did end up watching a movie with my parents that was very odd, but I actually really liked it. It's a movie on Netflix called Unfrosted. Have you heard of this?
This is Jerry Seinfeld's Pop Tart movie, right?
It's the Jerry Seinfeld Pop Tart movie.
Yeah,
um,
I want to see it. I don't have Netflix though right now. So, but
Okay. It is so weird. It has the vibe of a live action Dr. Seuss movie, kind of like Cat in the Hat or The Grinch. Um, and it is very weird. So it has no basis in reality at all. And it's very odd and it's hilarious. And it's like it's actually more like it's more like a space race movie, but instead of who can get to the moon first is who can come up with the Pop Tart first.
right,
It's really funny. Um,
yeah, it looks
so
like it has
yeah,
quite the cast. So yeah, it
yeah,
looks
yeah. I was actually very concerned because you get these big sprawling comedy casts, and it's like, oh man, this ain't gonna be any good because they never are. But this one is it's actually no one overstays their welcome whenever they pop in. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. So other than that, yeah, not much else. This week is going to be a big week for me to diversify my pop culture consumption because I don't know. I feel like I need to do that more. um, so yeah. How about yourself?
I've been doing pretty good. Last night, I introduced my youngest son to the wonderful world of Planet of the Apes. Watched the Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James Franco and John Lithgow. One of my favorite Apes movies. Um,
Yeah.
he loved it, so we're gonna watch the next two, and then maybe we'll catch the one in the theaters. We'll see.
Uh,
Uh, Go ahead.
did Did you see the interview that IGN did with Wes Ball at the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes premiere, where they're like, "What is your favorite Zelda game?" Because Wes Ball is directing the Legend of Zelda movie. He thinks about it for a second and he says, "I can't say. I don't think I'm allowed to say." And people are taking that as he's never played a Zelda game before.
I,
uh,
I would say it's either that or the movie he's making is based on that game. So
that's what
maybe,
I'm thinking.
yeah, it could be
Yeah.
either. It could be either or.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking he was either gonna say Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, the if he says something like Wind Waker, then it's obvious what your movie's going to be and everything, you know. And,
Right, right.
uh,
Um,
so other than that, I've been really going down a Saturday Night Live rabbit hole on YouTube. You know, I don't watch a lot of the or recent seasons, so I've just been kind of discovering lots of Saturday Night Live skits that I've missed out on. Today, I found one, The Falconer, where it starts involving time travel and involves Kevin Spacey. It is one of the goofiest skits, and I loved it. It involved almost every single cast member all playing the same character, and they're all talking in unison.
okay.
I was dying laughing. It's really dumb, but just the effort they put into that skit and the way they're all talking in unison. It's just really.
Yeah.
And I know people are like, "Oh, Saturday Night Live's terrible now" or whatever, and Saturday Night Live, it'll go through periods of, "Oh, it's great," and it's terrible, and it's great, and it's terrible, and you know,
I
it, it
I think it's finding its footing recently. Shane Gillis, his stuff was great for his episode. The Ryan Gosling stuff, like, have you seen the Beavis and Butthead thing?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That is like one of the funniest skits they've done in like 10 years.
Oh yeah, it was great, and
Yeah.
yeah, the alien abduction
Oh, of
skit.
course, of course.
Yeah,
Alien Production's always good.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
I think the big issue is because this season, Colin Jost and Michael Shea stepped down as head writers. They have some new head writers. They have a lot of new blood as far as the cast goes this season. And I think now that we're getting towards the end of the season, they're kind of finding their footing.
yeah, yeah. So I'm also discovering that a lot of my favorite Sound Life skits are not on YouTube. It's really annoying.
Yeah. Trying to think of some of my favorites. That might be a show. You know what? Hold on, we're gonna bring out the Google Docs. Best Saturday Night Live skits. That's what we're doing.
Sure, yeah.
Um, one of my favorites. Do you remember the one with Will Ferrell where they're doing the painting and he walks in naked? He's like, "Do you want the thinker or the
Oh,
stinker?"
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Or he's almost like a bum up there
Yeah,
modeling.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a classic. Other than that, I have finally resumed reading the three body problem books.
Okay.
I'm getting into the final book, Death's End, about 100 pages in now. So starting to get a feel for what that one is.
Yeah, yeah. You're actually not where you normally are. You had a trip this week, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm at my parents' house for Mother's Day. So if my mic sounds weird, everything's a little off right now. I left my headphones home. So
Yeah.
um,
Um. So, like, are you listening to the audiobook like while on the way? Or are you actually reading this one?
I'm actually reading. Uh,
Okay.
Reading while I'm driving, I've got to read a book.
So for the trip, are you guys? It's the three of you, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So if it's the three of you, I'm gonna guess. Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me. You guys are listening to FNAF theories the whole time.
No,
Ah,
no, no. We listened to Wendigoon and Meat Canyon Creepcast.
I was close.
and
I was
then
close.
I found a guy that does like the history of Marvel, and he's talking about the first 10 members of Avengers, the first 10 members of X-Men stuff. So
Okay,
my
okay.
so my kids who refuse to read comic books are getting a lesson. So
Uh,
I'm going to learn them on this trip. So
I mean, like the older one seems like he'd be interested in manga, maybe.
yeah, he's into Pokemon and whatnot, but yeah, neither of them really read a lot of comic books, so kind of strange. But
Yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Your 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 significant other is in town, so we've been spending time with her. She said something really weird this morning. She said, because we were at church for Mother's Day, and she was catching up with some people that she hasn't seen in a long time. Uh, and she's like, "Yeah, I got my babies. My babies aren't babies anymore, and they act just like these two." And I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, just like Jackson." I'm like, No, no, not at all. It was like, no, no, no. I mean, like the way you two spend money is similar. I'm like, okay, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. But no, me and the older one are not alike at all. I'm too much of a social butterfly.
Yes, I would definitely say that you are not alike.
um,
You all are both the oldest. If
we
that's
are we are both the oldest. That is, um, gotcha, gotcha. Uh, well, if we want to go ahead and get into some news, we had a
ton of news.
yeah. So I want to go ahead and start off with the bad news. So the fall of Xbox is happening. Everything at Microsoft is just going. It's imploding, and I think I think this is further proof that even if you do a great job, if you make money, you are not safe. Because it was I can't remember the name of the studio, but it's the studio that did Hi-Fi Rush, which is one of my favorite games from last year. Um, they closed down. Arcane Studio. They did Redfall, which kind of sucked, but before Redfall, they did Prey, they did Dishonored. They got shut down. And I I genuinely think that this all has stemmed from the fact that Microsoft bought Bethesda, thinking that it was going to be like a cash cow because oh man, Bethesda they made Skyrim and Fallout 4. But what they didn't take into account is they made Fallout 76, and now they have Starfield, which is also not great. So unfortunately, even if you do a great job, um, Microsoft will sacrifice you to keep Bethesda alive, even though they didn't do a great job.
And this is not just Microsoft. This is across the board. We're seeing layoffs all over the place, studio shutdowns.
Yeah,
It is not a great time to be in the video game industry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And some of the Bethesda studios shut down. I don't know. And like my thing is I think Bethesda needs an entire rework. I don't think. I think Todd Howard's time is up. I think I think he's past his prime, and I think it's time to have a new head of Bethesda. In my opinion, they want to focus on things like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, as they should at this point. I mean, I know Starfield was kind of going to be like their third big thing. I mean, at this point, Starfield's dead. Like it doesn't matter what you do, Starfield is just that one thing that they did, and they're going to try to fix it, but nobody's going to pay attention to it. The only reason that I'm paying attention to the Starfield updates that they're coming out with is because it's actually showcasing the issues with the game. Because now that they're adding an actual map to the actual planets, you actually get to have a bird's eye view of how empty these planets are. And it is something.
Yeah, and I don't think it's on our list, but this is coming off the heels of all the Helldivers controversy over at
Yeah,
Sony.
right,
So
right.
Sony and Microsoft have both been having some pretty rough weeks here.
Yeah,
And then Nintendo's been kind of quiet. I mean, they've been making announcements, but we'll talk about some stuff
yeah,
that they.
yeah. They're up next. They're up next.
Okay. All right.
Look, now that you bring it up, let's go ahead. By the way, with the Helldiver stuff, absolutely. I mean, like people thought that they fixed it, um, but it is still region locked and taken off Steam in several countries, over 100 countries. And here's my big opinion on it. At this point, I don't blame Sony. I blame Arrowhead Studios, because apparently this was Sony's plan all along, and Arrowhead Studios specifically ignored them and did not communicate this to the consumer. Okay?
Well,
Uh,
I think it was mentioned on a website, but it wasn't
right.
enforced, and and then it was
And
later enforced, and
and
just a
then the community manager uh, of Arrowhead encouraged people to, you know, just make bad reviews on Steam, let it be known. So that person got fired, obviously. Um, and here's the thing: I know that you know people get made fun of for saying, "Oh, poor multi-billion-dollar company," But here's the thing: you can't. If you were a developer and you were under a publisher, we can't just have developers uh usurping the publishers that are actually like that. That's not a good business practice. So if anything, all of this Helldiver stuff is on Arrowhead, and that is my opinion. And yes, Bethesda needs to start making a new engine. The one they made sucks. Yes, the Creation engine is one of the worst engines. They need to buck up, swallow their pride, and start using Unreal 5 like everyone else. Um, and there's Caleb's rant for today as far as the gaming industry. um, so Switch 2, uh, help me out here, because when I read that thing on Twitter X or whatever it's called, it seemed to me that it was definitely more of a an upgrade to the Switch than a completely new console. Is that what you were reading?
I think I would agree. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really what I took from it, was something more along the lines of like the I don't know, like the new 3DS to the 3DS. Like, there are games that come out for whatever the Switch 2 is that you're not going to be able to play on your Switch 1. But I would assume that they're going to continue making games that'll be playable on both, just like they did for the 3DS and the new 3DS. That is my prediction at this point. Um, but
Did you did you see the Twitter link I put in the chat about this? It had like a list of all the rumors.
uh, let me see if uh was that.
The one that says Central League status is right above the first look at Batman Cape Crusader in our chat.
Oh, let me see.
Maybe you missed the thing I posted in the chat. I don't know how true
Oh,
it
oh
are.
yeah. I did read this. Um, yeah, I think some of these are. I think some of these are uh accurate, but not because of, like, I don't think that this. I think this is all made up, but I think some of this is accurate just because it makes
Okay,
sense.
so
Uh,
I'll read it real quick. Screen will be 8 inches.
oops.
LCD. We'll use DLSS version 3.5 to improve performance and support ray tracing. 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Use magnets to attach it to Joy-Con in some way. Be completely backwards compatible for original Switch games, physical and digital, and will connect via Bluetooth to original Joy-Cons and Pro controllers. 4K support while docked, and use the new NVIDIA Tegra T239.
Those last two, I don't think are true.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't see Nintendo going 4K. I don't see Nintendo using Nvidia. Um, so everything else, sure. Um, I I don't like the idea of magnets. Uh, Nintendo better clarify that, because the Wii U was a disaster. That's what I'm saying. Like like I we are heading to another Wii U situation. I have been saying that for the past 6 months.
I don't think so, but
I do. I 100% think we're heading to another Wii U situation. I
as
think
long
it'll be more. Go ahead.
as long as it's people still understand, like it's not too different from the Switch, I think it's fine. The Wii U was very different
Yeah.
from the Wii, and it wasn't not explained well what was going on. It was so bulky and
Yeah.
everything.
Now there are a couple different things. So the Wii U came out and was going up against the Xbox One and the PS4. Now this Switch 2 will be going up against, PS5 and Xbox Series X, both of which are not doing too well. So Switch 2, whatever it ends up being called, it doesn't have the competition that the Wii U was going up against. So that's one thing it really has going for it. As far as the other potential leaks, I mean, I definitely think Sega, Atlas, Capcom, EA, Square, Koei, like immediately support the console. I buy that 100%. Launch 2025, maybe.
March, yeah, March of 2025. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't. Pokemon is already working on 3 projects for the new console. I buy that. I buy that they're working on 20 new projects for that
Oh
console.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I mean that's
I
not
can make
even.
I can make that rumor. Yeah.
Now I don't like the magnets being the new Joy-Con way.
I'm not
I don't like magnets on my electronics.
I'm not crazy about the magnets, but that sounds like something Nintendo would
I
do.
mean, as long as it's safe. I need it to
Yeah,
be safe.
yeah.
Um, but yeah. Next up we have
Uh,
some.
real quick.
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe this is the next topic. I was gonna bring up the NES.
Yes, yes. So we have a couple recent game announcements. So we talked about this last week that there was a leak for the NES, for the Nintendo World Championship NES edition. That actually had a trailer literally the day after our show.
It very much looks like the what was it called? NES Remix that was on
Yes.
Wii U,
Yep.
which was a fun game. It kind of seems like they took a lot of the fun out of this version though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if this has like speed run modes where you can play the entire Super Mario speed run, or like you play all these games in speed run mode, that would be awesome. But I don't know if
Yeah.
that's forgetting.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I really don't know what we're getting. I almost wonder if there's going to be like a secret at the end of the game, because you know how like they always reveal something at the end of the Nintendo World Championships. I wonder if this is like a glorified game announcement that you have to pay for. Like at the end of this, we're gonna get a game announcement. Like once you beat the game.
I don't know.
Um, Sonic Rumble looks like a lot of fun.
Sonic
uh,
Rumble, basically their version of Fall Guys, which is Sonic
yeah.
characters.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes.
it did look fun. It was like it was running a little janky.
But that adds to it though. Okay, the frame
Yeah.
rate was dropping in the trailer. That's how you know it's good. It looks like a lot of fun. I mean,
It,
Fall
it
Guys.
did say it did say it's not coming out till this winter. They got plenty of time to
Yeah,
clean that
yeah.
up. So
And we know they're not going to fix that, but it's nice to think about. Um, I don't know. Did you ever Were you in the Fall Guys meta at all? Did you play any of that?
I think I played it once or twice.
Okay, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's just
Mhm.
I think at the time my online connection was not the best. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
gonna be
Multiverses. I forgot about that game, but we got a Joker trailer.
Yes, they took Multiverses offline, and now they're bringing it back for season 2 or volume 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
There's lots of characters being rumored. Um, if I was at home, I could pull up the list, but I'm not hooked up to that Discord right now. Papa Gino's has a Discord where they discuss all the
Mm,
rumored leaks about it. So
gotcha.
yeah, Papa
Um,
Gino's is usually my go-to for Smash Brothers rumors, and now he's starting to cover multiverses quite a bit.
um, I didn't watch that Vampire Survivors trailer. But do you want to
Oh,
go over?
oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't watch it.
It's a Contra crossover. It is
Oh, is
awesome.
it? Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Oh, oh God, that's loud. Okay. Um. Okay.
It looks awesome. I meant to download it this weekend. I just haven't had a chance.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it's not Vampire Survivor in Contra form. It's like Bill Reiser and Lance Bean as playable characters.
And lots of Contra monsters and levels.
Yeah. Oh, they have the bike level from Contra 3.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
And then I've seen some of the boss battles. They're like the bosses from Contra and stuff. Yeah, it looks really great. And it's only like $2, so
Okay. Okay, that's kind of dope. Um, cool. Next up, so apparently Ryan Coogler, first of all, he's being, brought back for Black Panther 3 reportedly, which, makes sense that they're getting more consistent about that at this point at Marvel. But he's also being eyed for X-Men. Now, obviously we could make an X-Men movie that's Storm centered with the romance with T'Challa, even though T'Challa is dead now. But we might be able to do some things with it. What are your thoughts on this? What, like,
uh,
if Ryan Coogler does X-Men, does that mean we're getting Denzel as Magneto?
oh, I didn't even think about that. I know I name drop WW Pro all the time, but he's been saying for a couple of years now that Panther 3 will be about Storm. So if that movie's about Storm, introducing her, then we'll pull her over to the X-Men. For years she was the leader of the X-Men comic books. So we're talking about it being a female-centric story that just that all hooks together.
Mm-hmm.
I, I'm still not crazy about Denzel as Xavier or Magneto and all that. Those
So I was kind of on board with Denzel, but there's one thing that set me straight, and that was in X-Men '97. Whenever Holocaust survivor Magneto turns to German Leech and says, "Don't be afraid," and I'm like, you can't get that with the civil rights movement.
yeah, I get the comparison with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I get it, but I think at that point you're too on the nose.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
Um,
I don't have any issues with Ryan Coogler being the director. Um, I just I just want Marvel to do more of X-Men.
yeah,
X-Men 97 continues to be awesome. We'll be talking about that next week
yeah.
when the finale airs. But yeah,
And then we have some new FF casting. So John Malkovich in an undisclosed role. He is not one to play Doctor Doom. We just get that out of the way. And then we have the guy from the Green Knight. I don't remember his name, but he is
Ralph
Galactus.
Listen.
Yes, he is Galactus. Um, I only know him from the Green Knight, and just based on that performance, I'm on board with it.
I just pulled up interviews with him. His voice is so deep and gravelly. He's kind
Yeah,
of a perfect
yeah.
Galactus. And
Now I will say I was one of the people. I think I was one of the few who was on board with Javier Bardem as Galactus.
oh, that would have been great.
But this guy, like, I can get on board with this guy as well.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if you just said his name. I'm sorry, John Malkovich. I wonder if he's playing like Mole Man or something.
Maybe, maybe. You know what I'm actually wondering? So if this is like an alternate universe where the Fantastic Four fail by the end of the movie, Galactus consumes Earth and they get transported to 616, that if that means we're going to be getting another casting for Galactus in the future.
I think Galactus would be the same. I think Silver Surfer would be where you're recasting him. Instead, this is a world where Norrin Rad was chosen instead of
Okay.
I just was just thinking. I wonder if Franklin Richards will be how they get to the other reality. He saves
That
them powers.
honestly, that you know what? Imagine this: Franklin Richards sends the Four to safety in the other universe, and then he spends the rest of his life in their universe, just alongside Galactus for forever.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It could, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, we got a lot to talk about, and we went kind of long last week, and I don't want to have to edit this to 2 videos. So we're moving through news pretty fast. So apparently Andy Serkis is making a Lord of the Rings movie.
I thought it
Uh,
was what's his name was making the Lord of the Rings movie.
Peter Jackson is to produce, and Serkis is directing.
Oh, that's totally different. Okay.
Yeah. With this new information, what do you think?
Every time I hear more about, I mean, first I was like, oh, okay. And then every time I hear more and more about it, I get more and more disappointed. Like when they said, oh, it's going to be Golem focus, I was like, oh, okay. And now this, I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, so you were not on. I didn't know if it was going to be Gollum focus. It makes sense because it's his
I
character.
think the movie's called The Search for Golem or something.
I know where he's at. He's at the bottom of Mount Doom.
Yeah. I can tell you where he's at. Yeah.
I found him.
You won't be able to retrieve his body, but believe me, he's down there.
Yeah. So I mean, Andy Serkis. I know he directed Venom. Let There Be Carnage. What else did he direct? Is that it?
I don't know. If you're going to do Lord of the Rings fan fiction, which is what this sounds like, you know, my brain is not firing today. Tolkien was planning like a final wrap up to all this, his version of Revelations, the Apocalypse, and it just never got completed before he died. That's what you should be doing your fan fiction, not not the search for Golem or whatever.
He's directing an animated fantasy drama film called Animal Farm, based upon George Orwell's
Oh,
novella.
my son will be all over that.
Um, he directed the Mowgli film for Netflix. Oh man, Andy Serkis has got quite the track record. Um, yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. I'm actually not that big into Lord of the Rings. I like them, but it's not like Star Wars for me. Like, so I really don't have an opinion on this.
I really enjoy the Lord of the Rings movies. I did not care for the Hobbit films,
I
and
never finished them.
I didn't either. They
Uh,
were
s-
pretty
s-
bad, and I was out.
so I watched the first one when it first came. I have not. I've seen the extended cuts for the original. I've not seen the extended cuts for the Hobbit. So I watched the original Hobbit when it first came out on Blue. I didn't go see any of these in the theater. Um, and then whenever Desolation of Smaug came out, I fell asleep halfway through, and then I never saw Battle of the Five Armies. So
We have very similar Hobbit journeys. Yes.
a very expected journey. Um,
Those
uh,
bad films, the Hobbit
yeah.
ones.
How do you feel about that costume, man? The
It
the the
fine.
David Corns.
It was an odd picture, but it was fine. I don't. The negative reactions were kind of overblown. I thought,
So
like it
here's the
was.
here's my thing. I'm not going to say I had a negative reaction to it. Um, I don't particularly like the picture that they chose. I think this will look better in motion.
Yeah.
Pretty much anytime. Uh, pretty much anytime. Uh, they
Hey,
release.
Tripping Orc. Thanks for visiting. Have fun with your
Oh,
mom.
oh
Happy
yeah, yeah,
Mother's
of
Day,
course.
everybody.
Happy Mother's Day, of course.
And we'll catch you on the replay.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and get this pulled up. Just to yeah, like I think it's I think it's decent. Maybe a little over designed with the lines. Um, but I, like I said, I don't know. Like you cannot go by these press release photos because
Hmm.
they always look bad.
Yeah, you have to see it in motion,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, like, let's take a look at I mean, this is legendary. Uh, I don't remember who did it. Um, it was there. It is. Yeah. I mean, that looks terrible.
Mhm.
Like what the heck is that? But then you see it in motion. You see it in the context of the movie. It looks good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm still very excited for the James Gunn Superman
yeah,
movie.
of course.
I think it'll be a big hit next year if the studio if the cinemas survive till next year. I think it'll be a great hit.
And then finally, Batman Cape Crusader. The more I know about this, so I'm very excited about this. I do question some choices though. Um, so this is a 40s period piece. Harley Quinn is Asian. So she better be Chinese, or there's going to be a lot of questions.
I
Um,
I that is one of the choices I'm questioning. I have nothing against the design. I think the design looks awesome.
oh, the design's cool. I like the design. I'm
This should be
talking,
this should be a brand new character. Why is this Harley Quinn?
yeah. Um, and then once again, this is a 40s period piece, and Commissioner Gordon is based more upon Jeffrey Wright's adaptation than anything else. So the civil rights movement hasn't really happened yet. How is he commissioner?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so this is going to be an alternate take on the 1940s where racism doesn't exist. Um, I don't know. Those are the only two things. I think the art style looks fantastic. I'm super excited because Batman is my. I'm a DC guy. Everyone knows that at this point. And so I've been going through X-Men 97. I'm like, yeah, yeah, this is really good. I really enjoy this. Cape Crusader, it's like, okay, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn. Hopefully it's my turn. But yeah, uh, that is our news. Um, and for the most part, this is going to be a pretty news centric show. Because now we're going to be going over. You mentioned that if films survive, um, then James Gunn's Superman will be a hit. Well, let's see what films are going to be holding up the rest of 2024. Now, we had a longer list. I did cut it down. One for time, two because there's some on the list that are supposedly coming out this year that like we don't have posters for, we don't have trailers, and I'm like, if we don't have that kind of stuff, who knows if we're getting it this year. So everything that I have on this list is stuff that we have gotten confirmation we're definitely, unless like something like happens, these are like definitely coming out this year.
yeah.
Um,
And we're coming off some pretty weak releases. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think Kingdom of Planet of the Apes is like made like somewhere around 55 million or something.
mhm.
Not a, that should be 100 million movie. Fall Guy had some disappointing results. Uh, what else? I don't remember how Godzilla and Kong did, but and
There's no way
Dune.
that did well.
Yeah, like if you just pull up the top 10 movies of the year so far on Wikipedia, like if you just type in
Let's
2024 in film, it'll pop up right at the top. It'll say like the top 10 movies.
Here we go. Here we go. Rotten Tomatoes. Uh, Dune Part Two has 281.3 million.
And is that domestic? Like I assume that's US.
Let's see. It does not specify. I want to say that this is.
That sounds like domestic though.
It's yeah. It sounds like domestic.
Okay.
Um,
Two.
Kung
Two's been probably the hit.
Kung Fu Panda 4 is number 2.
Yeah.
At 188.3 million. Uh, Godzilla Kong New Empire 188 million. And then we have a steep drop. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 109.9 million. Bob Marley One Love 96.8 million. Mean Girls 72.4 million. The Beekeeper, which is that Jason Statham movie,
Right.
66.2 million. Civil War was 62 million. Argyle 45.2 million, and just cracking that top 10, Madam Web with 43.8 million.
Madam Web is in the top 10. That's how bad the box office is right now. That's a
Oh,
horrible, horrible list. And like Fall Guy isn't even in that list. I mean,
I,
that's
I
that's
gotta
how
be
bad.
on. I gotta be
Yeah,
honest. Like Dune Part 2 is the only one that should be on this list right now.
yeah. It
Like,
movies are underperforming, and if you look at those numbers, most of those numbers are what like a Marvel film would make opening weekend just a couple of years ago. Like their total box office is what Marvel would do in one weekend. It's bad.
and half. Here's the thing. Let me count because it's also got their ratings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half of the top 10 are certified rotten. Like that
Yeah.
is big. That is big. Now, of course, that's just an aggregate. I'm sure your opinion is that Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is not certified rotten, but it does have a 43%.
I think it's fine, but it's not the best Ghostbusters movie ever made. I get, the fact that that's like number 5 on your list is pretty bad. That should
Yeah,
not be. That should be lower on the list.
it's number 4 actually.
So, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes came out this past weekend. It might have some legs on it. They did announce that this is number 4 of 9 movies they're making. So this is going to be, yeah, that came out that they are doing basically like the Star Wars trilogy of these movies. This is number 4, the 4th movie of 9 films that they're making.
Why don't we get back to making one movie at a time? Let's go. Let's go there.
So, but I was wondering, are they meaning that this is number 4 or is this movie number 9? If you count the Charlton Heston movies, this is number 9.
But
We're not counting Tim Burton, but I think what they're saying though is there's going to be 5 more Planet of the Apes
yeah,
movies.
I'm thinking there's going to be 5 more because if we're counting Charlton Heston, then we have to count Mark Wahlberg as well, even though
Well, no,
we don't want to.
it's the because if you watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it ties into the Charlton Heston movie, like the newspaper headlines and stuff.
Yeah, but doesn't Dawn of Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes kind of like deviate?
The new movie that just came out, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, features a girl named Nova that was Charlton Heston's sidekick in those movies.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're going. I think they're about to remake the Charlton Heston movies.
How do you feel about that?
I'm all for it. Charlton Heston, he tried to kill the ape franchise in the second movie. Spoilers for the second movie, Beneath Planet of the Apes. He nukes the whole planet at the end of the movie and kills everybody because he didn't want to make any more apes movies.
That's fun.
And then they proceeded to make 3 more involving time travel and stuff to get around that. But yeah, he's like, I don't want to do these movies anymore. Kill me off and kill everybody off, so there will never be another Planet of the Apes movie.
So,
back then, Hollywood stars had that kind of control. They could just say, "Yeah, kill the franchise."
I mean Sean Connery didn't have that though. They replaced him pretty quickly. And then they replaced him with Sean Connery pretty quickly. So um anyway, yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna look at some movies that may or may not be able to uh
I think it's a list of movies that intrigue us, that may have the box office mojo, or may just be movies that we want to see.
yeah, yeah. I think that this first one does have the box office mojo. Um I think that this is one that people aren't going to expect. But I do think Furiosa has the chops to do well.
These trailers look awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I don't know. Like, I don't think there's ever really been a George Miller film that's failed. Even the Happy Feet movies do really well. So I have a good feeling about Furiosa.
I don't think this is a massive hit, but I think it will do well enough. You know,
Um,
two
I
hundred
think
dollar domestic run or whatever.
I think this has the ability to. I think both Dune Part Two and this both have the possibility of being Oscar nominees, just like Fury Road was.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anything, I think that that's something Furiosa has going for it. Uh, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. Um, Not only does Anya Taylor Joy look kind of odd, but they've made her look even weirder. Um, and then, oh man, you know how Chris Hemsworth was coming out there recently, like lamenting Thor: Love and Thunder. He's like, "I became a parody of myself. I can't believe I did that." I think we're about to see him pop off as Immortan Joe. Like we are about to see this man pop off. It's gonna be amazing. Um, but yeah, let's see what we have next. So we have Inside Out 2. This one concerns me.
I think this movie, some of the rumor plots, if they're true, is going to be very controversial for Disney.
um, is it what I'm thinking it is as far as Riley's preference?
Yes, that
That's
is that's the rumors I've heard, and then I have no idea how true they are. I just know that sounds like a very Disney thing to do.
It does. It does. Uh, I guess myself, Inside Out was a very Inside Out was a very universal movie that, like, a lot of people have gone through. That's why I love it so much, is because I did go through it. You also went through it. We take the movie a little differently. You actually are traumatized by the movie. I love the movie because I feel seen. um, I don't know. I guess this is the problem whenever we're going into like a puberty style movie is I'm not a girl, so I don't see how I'm gonna be able to relate to this at all.
And the designs for the new emotions look pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I like the orange guy. The orange guy's fun.
Anxiety, yeah, anxiety looks okay,
Yeah.
but I don't know. This is
They've also recasted a couple of the. I think they recasted Disgust and uh, Fear or whatever.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Um. So we'll we'll see. Oh, I just noticed this. This is really funny. Sadness is crying, but it has a flag that says "Yay." That's really funny. That's a sadness thing to do. um, but yeah, I'm definitely concerned. Not just because of rumors and whatnot, but like let's be honest. Pixar hasn't been consistent since Coco.
That, and not every Pixar movie needs a sequel. Um, I don't know if this one
Yeah.
sequel. First one was fine. It's kind of like making a sequel to Ratatouille. You'd be like, why? Or
Hold on. But let's just say Ratatouille has the perfect name for a sequel.
sure.
Ratatouille.
Right. You would have to change the title. You just put a 2 in the middle. And
Yeah. I don't think it needs a sequel. I'm just saying it's right there. um,
And the sequel to Up would be Up to No Good.
Up to No Good. And then the sequel to Wall E would be Wall F, I guess.
If they
No. Okay, so Wall E there's a new model of Wall E called Wall F, played by Eddie Murphy, and he is he he is investigating the murder of his friend.
Bernie gets murdered and all F.
Yeah. And then the Crazy Frog comes out of nowhere. They've got the rights to him now, I think. I don't think so, but they can make it happen.
If they made a sequel to Wall-E, that might be the final straw between me and Disney. That might just be it.
Do you think that Wall-E 2 would make $1 billion?
It would depend on how well it was done. If you had a really good hook and really strong creatives behind it, maybe. But I don't know how much money the first Wall-E made. I'd have to look at that.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and look that up. Wall-E box office numbers.
Hey, Patrick, good to see you.
532.5 million.
You said how much? 500 something?
532.5 million.
Which is, for an animated film, is a pretty good run.
Yeah.
That is a very successful.
The 9th highest grossing film of 2008.
Okay.
But Finding Dory made $1 billion. What the heck?
Finding Dory's not that great a film.
Toy Story 3 made $1 billion, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up, we have The Watchers. So this is one that this movie's not making any money. We're not even going to pretend that. But this is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Ishana. And it is based off of a novel of which I know nothing about. The trailers are nondescript. You have intrigued me, Ishana.
Yeah, I think I read the spoilers to this, or at least the novel that's based on, and it didn't sound all that interesting.
Oh, okay.
So, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I did not. So
Don't put the Shyamalan twist on it, so maybe it'll be different in the book.
maybe. Let's see. Next up, okay. So you put this on here last minute. I don't know about this. What do we got going on here?
These are very bizarre trailers. Like, they're not even labeled as the movie. Like if you'll type in Longlegs, these trailers with different names will pop up. And it's some kind of serial killer movie. You barely see Nicolas Cage in the trailers. I'm assuming he's the killer. It looks really messed up, and I think this will be one of those movies that people are talking about at the end of the year. So, when this is over, definitely check that out. Patrick's pointing out in the chat that Disney's streaming operation lost $512 million in the most recent quarter. That is correct. You cannot throw billions of dollars into productions on your streaming service and not get people watching them. It'll just kill your streaming service. And how many people have Disney Plus, but they have it because they got it for free through their phones or service or whatever? That is not a profitable service, and they're going to start cracking down on password protection here, or
Yeah, yeah.
sharing passwords in the near future, which I
What
think is really going to hurt them.
here's the thing. I think Disney thinks that they're bigger than Netflix, and at this point, I mean, they are not.
Yeah, I think that they think that their quality matches Netflix, and
Yeah, and
it
even
just
then, Netflix's quality is not that good. But Netflix isn't just original stuff.
right.
What did you think about like it? It looks like that Disney and Max are going to be joining up to make a cable package.
Um, yeah, I think you will see a lot of streaming services start getting lopped together to try to get people to subscribe to them. To
Yeah,
answer Patrick's question, does Disney make you pay more to get rid of commercials?
I don't
Uh,
think so.
no, currently there's no commercials on Disney Plus, but they are going to add a free model that does have ads. That should be coming out sometime this year.
Yeah. I was looking at Long Legs. The film focuses on Lee Harker, a new FBI agent who has been assigned to an unsolved case of a serial killer. As the investigation becomes more complicated with occult evidence uncovered, Harker realizes a personal link to the killer and must act quickly to prevent another family murder. This kind of sounds like, just if you squint, this sounds like Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, it was definitely getting like those types of vibes, those types of. Remember Morgan Freeman and Ashley, what's her name, Judd, made a bunch of those movies, like those types of movies.
Yeah. And then Nicolas Cage is the serial killer. In fact, cast says Nicolas Cage as the serial killer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, this might be something I might have to check out those trailers. Like I said, you added this like Friday, I think, and I didn't
Yeah,
get a chance to see those trailers. I might have to look those up afterwards. Next up, Fly Me to the Moon. I think this looks fantastic. Have you seen this trailer?
I think I did, but I don't remember. Like they're trying to fake the moon landing or something.
So what they're doing is they're still trying to make it to the moon, but they're also working on faking the moon landing in case they don't make it.
Yeah,
And I mean, it just looks hilarious. It looks like a lot of fun.
I,
And you
I hope
got
the I hope the Imagine Dragons show up as they're going to cast as the astronauts.
and then you got the dean. I love the dean.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that? Yeah, he's great.
yeah. And then we got Ray Romano.
Right.
Uh, I mean, I mean, like this looks like the movie of all time. I'm excited for this. um, no, it really does look like a lot of fun, and that's kind of what you know what this looks like. This looks like you know what? Hold on. Before I say what I was about to say, I'm going to go ahead and look this up real quick, just in case I make a fool of myself.
Too late. No.
Hold on. No, no, hold on. I mean, I'm gonna say it anyway, because I think it's funny. Um Oh, really? Okay, so it's being directed by Greg Berlanti, who did a lot of the Arrowverse as well as Titans and Doom Patrol. I didn't know that. Okay. So what I was going to say is this really has like a Cohen brothers vibe to me.
Yeah, I could.
Uh and so I had to look this up just in case this actually was a Cohen brothers movie. um but no, so this is a Greg Berlanti movie. Uh who worked on a lot of DC Comics adaptations. So that is very interesting.
He also worked on the Powerpuff Girls live action, I believe.
And Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
None of this is adding up to these movies' trailers. Very, very weird. But I'm still excited for this movie because I love the cast. concept is very interesting. So, and I think it'll be fun. Uh, Twisters. I added this because I assumed you would have something to say. I have nothing to say about this.
I've seen the trailers. I mean, it looks like a lot of chaos, and I think the original Twister had at least there was some personal drama in that, where you're dealing with a couple that is going through a divorce, and he wants to get remarried, she doesn't, and you know, so there was, it was more than just a tornado movie. And I don't know if this one's just going to be, hey, tornadoes, or if there's actually more of a point to it.
Um, I like Glenn Powell. He's kind of getting around as far as movies go, so he's in this one too.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add. So
yeah, I don't know. I like Glenn Powell. The more and more that he gets put in movies, I'm just like, James Gunn. We have our Booster Gold right here.
this is one of those movies that does not need to be a franchise, and they're trying to make it a franchise. Like they're trying to get something.
The Twister Cinematic Universe.
It was like I saw a trailer for a movie. I can't remember what it was called, like the Dancing Village or whatever. The story about the village where everybody started dancing for days and they couldn't stop. And they're making a movie of that. And it's called like Chapter 1 or The Beginning, and it's just like, don't make this into a franchise. What are you doing? What is this?
Well, they're dancing a long time.
Yeah.
I
hope the sequel's like Electric Boogaloo. It's just all breakdancing and stuff.
To just get John Travolta in, and it turns out that this is a spinoff of Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the thing. So everyone is trying to make their cinematic universe, and I'm kind of sick of that. I think we jump the shark when people try to make their own Star Wars expanded universes. Like once we start getting Twister novels in the universe, then that's when we jump the shark. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on Deadpool and Wolverine because what else is there to add? This is. What do you think? $1 billion?
No.
Okay.
But I'm to the point where I don't want to see anything else about this movie, because I think this movie's trailer is about to spoil the heck out of this movie. Like the next trailer is just going to be spoilers galore, and I don't want that.
I agree. But yeah, I definitely. I almost thought about not putting this on the list because what else is there to say?
Well, I think the $1 billion discussion is important. I think the R rating, at the end of the day, the R rating and the performance of past Deadpool movies keep this from getting $1 billion. I know you're adding Wolverine, but how many of his movies, how many Hugh Jackman movies have made $1 billion?
I don't know. I feel like if anything, Les Mis would be like the one.
Well, no, I'm talking more of Wolverine.
Oh, you're talking about just Wolverine movies. Okay. Let's take a look at how much Logan made. I know that didn't make $1 billion. $619.2 million.
That's an R-rated movie. So
yeah.
I think around 800 million at the top, maybe. I think that's pushing it. I think more 600 million is probably more likely.
X-Men Origins made 373.1 million. However, I think that one would have made more, but this one famously had a huge bootleg leak. So I think a lot of people watched the bootleg over going to see it.
Yep.
And then I feel like I'm the only person who saw the Wolverine. So
I feel like X-Men 2 or Days of Future Past would probably be the biggest.
I feel like Days of Future Past. Let's check that one. Days of Future Past box office 746 million.
Yeah, so I think somewhere around there is probably what this movie's going to be, if you're lucky.
You got me curious. X2 407. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, these have not previously been billion-dollar movies. I don't see this one suddenly becoming a billion-dollar movie, especially since it's rated R.
okay. I feel like my only thing is the fact that this is the first X-Men movie in the MCU continuity. I feel like that's like the one thing it has going for it.
When was the last billion-dollar MCU movie?
I mean, on
Spider-Man. Spider-Man: No Way Home.
did No Way Home make a billion?
Spider-Man: No Way Home made ridiculous money. I think it made 2 billion or pretty close to it.
Wasn't it re-released though?
I don't know if it did, but its original run was what many people consider to be the first big hit after COVID.
Let's see, 1.9 billion.
Yeah,
I mean, counter argument. This is the closest thing to a concept that No Way Home has.
true.
Um, but also, devil's advocate. Let's play counter arguments. My counter argument: Multiverse of Madness. What did that make?
Multiverse of Madness had a very strong opening weekend, and then it died off.
Okay, okay. So Multiverse of Madness was 955.8 million. So that got close.
Yeah,
The only problem with Multiverse of Madness, I feel like if it delivered on its promises, I think it would have made a billion. But it made promises that it well, and here's the thing: they didn't technically make any promises, but they knew what they were doing. um,
I think
and-
Spider-Man is the only movie post-COVID for Marvel that's made a billion. I don't think anything else has crossed the billion-dollar line.
yeah, and then honestly, I think like what 4 or 5 movies have only made a billion post COVID at this point.
Yeah, so I don't see this. Like I said, I'm thinking 600, 700 million, maybe 800 million if they get really lucky. Like this movie's incredible.
Oppenheimer didn't even make a billion.
Yeah,
Barbie and Super Mario, those made a billion. Yeah, I think that's it. Uh, hold on, I'm gonna look at the $1 billion movies post COVID.
probably get a lot of foreign films,
Maybe.
China, but
Okay, here we go. The 1 billion. That is. Oh, that makes okay. This 100% makes sense at this point. We have Barbie, Super Mario Brothers, Avatar: The Way of Water, Jurassic World, Dominion, Top Gun: Maverick, and Spider-Man: No Way Home.
yep.
That make all of those make perfect sense. Well,
But,
Jurassic World is a surprise to me, but I think that's just me because I'm not a big Jurassic Park fan.
so that's why I don't get the argument where you keep saying, "Oh, Deadpool's gonna make $1 billion." I'm like, no, it's not. It is highly, highly unlikely.
Right. Well, yeah. Uh, okay, so we got Borderlands. This one just looks fun. I don't think this is going to be high art. I don't think this is going to make any money.
I
Uh,
have heard nothing but hate for this film, and
okay.
I don't know why. A lot of people say it has had several rewrites, and it was amazing that it's even coming out. Other people complain that Kate Blanchett's too old. Uh, I think this will find its audience, and I don't think it'll be a massive hit, but I think it'll do better than people are expecting.
Um, yeah, yeah, I think so as well. Unless this movie actually is, hot dog water. That is a
It could be.
possibility.
It very well could be.
That is a possibility that this movie is just hot dog water. Um, but yeah, if we're looking at ages, yeah, Kate Blanchett is a little old, but she's also an elf. So,
Yeah,
um,
they are immortal. So yeah, and she played Hela or Hela, right?
yeah, yeah. I did not
She
like that
looked.
movie.
I know, but she looked fine as Hela.
Yeah. Um, I think she looks better in this movie, actually.
Yeah,
Uh, let's see. Okay, so yeah, we're getting 2 Shyamalan movies this year. This one is called Trap. Have you seen this trailer?
I have, and to be fair, the other one is by his daughter, so
No, I know.
technically we're getting to Shyamalan. Yeah, this
Yeah.
trailer looks interesting, but then it's also kind of like, okay,
Well, you got to
it's kind of it's how does it live up to the trailer? Will it be payoff at the end, or does it kind of just fall apart?
Well, no, that I mean, that's the weird thing is in the trailer, because there's always the Shyamalan twist. It almost seems like the trailer spoils the Shyamalan twist. So I'm just like, what else is going on in this movie?
Maybe the daughter's a serial killer too, or
Maybe, yeah,
something
or
weird like
maybe,
that.
or
Or
or maybe
two
the
serial killers there.
or the pop star that they're going to see is also a serial killer, or maybe everybody that is
It's a serial killer convention, like that issue of
yeah,
Sandman. They're all
yeah.
serial killers. And this is a
Um,
massive trap. They've tricked every serial killer in the country.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, I am actually pretty excited for this. I think
It
this
would be funny. It would be funny if the vendor he's talking to is the other serial killer, and he's just throwing him off to make because they're really
yeah,
after the vendor, and he's like, "Oh, I recognize you. You're a serial killer. I'm gonna
yeah.
screw you
Um,
up and make them
but
take you out."
I'm very excited. I love Josh Hartnett, who plays the main character in this movie, um, and so he was actually in the most recent season of Black Mirror, and he plays a pretty demented character uh, in Black Mirror. So I'm like, oh yeah, he can definitely do this. um, so I'm pretty excited for this. I here's the thing. People are always really down on Shyamalan. I find it to be immensely more fun to live life being like, this is just my way of life. You want to you I'm Tony Robbins. Here's my advice for going through life. Go through life being optimistic about Shyamalan films. um and just it, if you're disappointed, you're disappointed, but just be optimistic about Shyamalan films, and we'll see what happens, because you might get a split, you might get a glass, but you might get a split. um and I'm hoping this is a split.
Yeah.
So uh yeah, I'm excited for this. uh I think at this point, are you on board with this as well, or are you still like, I'm only gonna watch Aliens? Uh,
I don't know.
okay. Uh, because I am super excited for this. Um, more and more that I read about this, I think that they're going to reveal that even though at the end of the movie the Nostromo was destroyed, that it wasn't completely destroyed and it is just derelict. And so it's going to be like these travelers that are just harvesting from, and it's going to turn out to be the Nostromo. And um, there's another alien on board.
So when was the Nostromo destroyed? Was that the final Sigourney Weaver movie, or was that earlier?
The Nostromo was destroyed at the end of the first movie.
First movie. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So this takes place in between the first and second movie.
Gotcha. 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 Okay.
And so I think that this is going to be, uh, a somewhat. I think this is going to be heavily inspired by Alien Isolation, which I'm down with because Alien Isolation is a baller game. I don't think it's going to be Amanda Ripley. I think there's going to be like an Amanda Ripley stand-in. It's going to be kind of. It's not going to be a Ripley story, so it's going to be kind of separate. But I do think that they're going to visit the Nostromo, and that's going to be the derelict ship that they're scavenging from. Uh, so I mean, honestly, like
Didn't I
I
hear a TV series coming out also?
Yes, yes. So there is going to be I it's right now it's just called the Alien TV series. The more I hear about it, I think it's actually going to be called Wayland Yutani or just Wayland. Um because it's actually not going to be about xenomorphs at all. It is actually going to be about the Wayland Corporation uh inventing the first android, and it's going to take place on Earth. So it is definitely going to be more of like a cyberpunk drama than sci-fi horror. Which to anyone else, I'd be concerned. But it is Noah Hawley. He did Legion. He did Fargo. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think so. You've seen Aliens at this point. I think you watch Alien, and if you're down with it, then you're good for everything else. And if you're not down with Alien, then I will be the resident Alien nut. um,
I think I'm more interested in maybe watching Prometheus.
Prometheus is dope. I love Prometheus.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like
I
I've seen most of Alien. I've seen clips from it. I know the plot, and I think I've seen the ending of it. Yeah.
and then I don't know if we do that Alien 3 thing that I would think to we'd have to decide though, because there are so many different iterations of Alien 3, because there's Alien 3, then there's the Alien 3 director's cut, and then there's this audiobook that you're talking about. We'll have to figure out. Alien 3 is an interesting subject.
Yeah. Definitely.
but but yeah, I'm so hyped for Romulus. This ain't gonna make any money, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah. What's next?
Um I I should have taken this off. I don't care.
I don't know if this movie's coming out this year. I bet they push it back again. I think
Okay.
they're still kind of shell shocked after Madam Web flopped so hard. They're kind of like, I don't know about this one.
I'm more
Maybe they're waiting to see how Venom does, or maybe they want to push it away from Venom 3.
I by the way, Venom 3 I took off this list because we literally know nothing about it. Like
Yep.
there's not a poster, there's not a trailer, there's not a cast. We don't know who the villain is. There's rumors that it's Toxin. Um, I hope it's not, because Toxin is another Carnage, who's another Riot. These movies are the same.
Yeah, Toxin could be fun if they lean on the cop element of him being a cop, like just an out of control cop that has a symbiote that's hunting down Eddie or something. But I've never seen any of these movies, so I'm just kind of talking out of my head. I don't
um,
know.
I I think it would be fun if it was Null, but there's no way they're going to do Null.
I
um,
don't think Marvel. I don't think Marvel would let them use Null. I think Null is like something they want to use for a bigger story, a bigger MCU related movie
which I
with their
could see.
symbiote that was left in at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah. Um, that is if they remember that. Uh, that is if we get any more Spider-Man movies, because right now they're talking. Right now they're talking about James Wan directing Spider-Man 4, and I'm like, James Wan, really?
Yes. All right.
It's, it's like we're gonna get a freaking Saw, Spider-Man, Fast and Furious, Aquaman movie. James Wan's got a weird career.
Yeah.
And Conjuring. He did the Conjuring movies too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am. My only concern is if this movie comes out, this ruins Aaron Taylor Johnson's chances of being Bond. If this ruins his chances of being Bond,
I don't think it will.
okay. Like, that's my only reservation. Like, this movie looks like trash. This movie's going to be trash. But if this if this hurts us getting another great Bond, then that'll be a problem.
At worst, or maybe best case scenario, I can see it speaking like a guilty pleasure. It's so bad, it's good. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
maybe. Uh, all right. So we've got this movie. So fun fact: And by the way, I need to talk to you about this. We're gonna have to pre-record next week because I'm not gonna be able to do the show on Sunday because of this. Okay?
This, okay.
Yeah. So Beetlejuice is getting a sequel. My parents are actually going to be out of town. They're going to Italy for their 20 some odd anniversary. I don't like 28th, 29th. I don't remember which one it is. Um, but they have like season tickets to Louisville's Broadway or whatever, and they couldn't sell their tickets. So next Sunday, Cameron and I are going to be seeing uh, Beetlejuice the musical.
Which
Uh,
looked a lot of fun. I was
yeah,
tempted to see it when I was in Dallas. And we got
yeah,
to go.
it definitely looks like a lot of fun. Fun fact: this will be my first exposure to Beetlejuice.
Oh boy.
And and so whenever I told my parents that, they're like, "Wait, you haven't seen Beetlejuice? We got to show you Beetlejuice." I'm like, "No, I need this to be my first exposure to Beetlejuice because I think it'd be really funny."
Yeah, it would be.
So my first exposure to Beetlejuice is actually, I think I've seen like, bits and pieces of Beetlejuice here and there. I've probably seen the whole movie, just not in order.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so this will be my first exposure. And then I'll be watching this movie and be like, so where's all the singing at?
Yeah.
Uh,
So
uh,
what's weird about Beetlejuice? He first off, he's barely in the first movie.
yeah.
That's the first thing, and he's the villain. But then they made like a 3 or 4 season cartoon where he was like the main character and kind of a good guy. Like, oh, he was a rascal, you know. So I don't know
Oh,
what.
that rascal.
Yeah. So I don't know what Beetlejuice we're getting. Is he still gonna be the villain, or is he, more of the cartoon one? I have no idea. I would assume it's gonna be more of the villain since Tim Burton probably never even saw the cartoon.
Yeah.
But there's no telling with modern day Tim Burton what we're going.
Yeah.
I don't.
He made Mark Wahlberg kiss a monkey.
Yeah, I don't think this is $1 billion movie either.
No, no. If I remember what our next one is, I think our next one is. Nope, it's not. Nope.
Oh, we have it here on record. Caleb thinks
Nope.
Transformers 1 will be $1 billion movie.
Nope. I forgot that this one was on the list. Oh my god.
I don't know if we have much more to say about this. If the humor in the trailer is the humor throughout the entire film, it's just gonna be kind of a mess. If there's more of a decent story behind it, then maybe. But that first trailer was a little rough. So
Just remember what I said the last time we talked about this. This is a remake of the Bee Movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
yes,
That is what this movie is.
and then the next one will be the unfrosted remake.
Instead of it's like who's gonna make the first Allspark?
Yeah.
uh who has the matrix of leadership? Oh man. If I heard this was gonna be like a trilogy, like are we gonna get a Transformers 2 and it's gonna be spelled out like 2?
Well, probably. No, I hope it's just Transformers 1, 2. And then Transformers 1, 3. And you're like, wait, what?
No. It's gonna be Transformers 1, then we have Transformers 1, 2, and then Transformers 23. That's the next one.
23 is number 1.
Yeah.
It'll be the movie. Deep Zelda cut.
This looks bad. Like, you know how, like, Chris Hemsworth is going to go off as a Morton Joe. This is going to be one of those things where, like, I bet you they had him on the phone doing voice work. He literally phoned this in.
I bet they literally took scenes from Thor and just re-edited it to make him the dialogue of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum is going to be coming in and he's like, you're the god of sparkly fingers. And then that's how they're going to be like, sparkly fingers. All spark. Oh, we did it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this looks hot dog water. This is pure hot dog water.
And what's weird is we're going into probably not next year, but the year after a GI Joe Transformers movie, and it's
Which
gonna be like, are you gonna kneecap the brand really bad with this movie? And then it's like,
you're
before
gonna
you go on.
need, yeah, and then there's also like the Transformers GI Joe movie, possibly also hot dog water. So we'll see. Here we go. Here we go. $1 billion movie right here.
If the songs are catchy, an original $1 billion movie. I don't know if they're going to be original songs though.
I think we get at least one original.
Yeah, I
Like
think
it,
I think if that song becomes like a hit, then this movie will become $1 billion.
yeah. I think that if this is a jukebox musical, then we get at least one original song, $1 billion movie.
Now, here's a factor you probably haven't considered. This comes out almost 1 month exactly before a major event in U.S. history. Who knows what's going to be going on at the political debate at that moment? Like,
Ah, yeah.
I,
You know what? I disagree. I don't like to get political on this podcast. Obviously, this is not a political podcast.
yeah,
Um, but out of anything in U.S. or world politics that has been happening this year, um, nobody is talking about the election at this point. Nobody. About this time in the past 4 years, 8 years, like 12 years, like it's usually a bigger deal. I feel like at this point, because this is the first time in a long time where this is just a straight up rematch, I don't think people care to talk about it too much. I think
possibly. I think people
people have already made up their minds, and so like that's
that
why
that
that's why
yeah,
yeah,
most people have their minds already.
they made up their minds 4 years ago. So why are we going to talk about it? Why are we going to like nobody that that's why it almost doesn't feel like that there's an election this year because of who it is. And so honestly, I don't think that
Okay.
event is going to
Now,
affect it.
the first Joker movie had a lot of people boycotting it, protesting it due to the violence at theaters, and they were trying to say that movie would cause violence, and it kind of backfired. People went to see it in droves,
Yeah.
so I mean something similar could happen here. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's see. And this is the last one on the list because the further we get, we're getting less and less information. This comes out. We essentially Joker comes out at the beginning of October. This is end of December. We made a huge jump, but that's just because we don't have a whole lot of information on anything else.
Yeah,
Um,
I think there's another Disney movie coming out, but we don't really know
so
anything about it.
so we do
Oh,
Moana.
Mufasa and Moana. That's right.
Yeah, so the reason that I don't okay, we'll talk Moana 2 for a sec. We still don't know much about Mufasa, so that misses the criteria that we're looking at. Moana 2, from what it looks like, it is just them because there's a Moana TV show coming out. What they have done with Moana 2 is they've spliced together like the first 3 episodes and made a movie so that way they can make money because they're not making a whole lot of money. Um, and that is what Moana 2 is. Moana 2 is just a pilot movie for their TV show that they're releasing in theaters.
Yeah, yeah,
So uh, that's almost why I didn't want to talk about it because I'm like, that's not a movie.
yeah. Well, I mean, Toy Story 2 started out as a direct to video sequel until they reworked it. So who knows?
They reworked it and it's a better movie than the first. They reworked it.
Yeah, yeah,
um, but Sonic 3, we got $1 billion movie right here. And the only reason that it's $1 billion movie is because that is how much money I'm going to be paying to see this. It is $1 billion movie because of me.
Okay, well,
I
these are billions of dollars. Yeah, I kind of part of me is like, oh, no one's talking about this movie, but it doesn't come out till December, and I kind of forgot Knuckles came out, but it's like the most watched show on Paramount Plus, so
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
definitely an audience for this. I don't think it's $1 billion movie, but yeah,
No, it's not $1 billion movie, but this is well, and you also got to think this comes out during kids' Christmas break.
yeah, it's a good release window for this, especially if there's not too much competition. We don't have an Avatar this year or anything like that, so
And
uh,
I mean, if the only competition is Moana and Mufasa, I think this bodies both of them.
yeah,
Um,
even though Moana is one of the most rewatched movies on Disney Plus.
no, I think Moana 2 will probably have a strong opening weekend, and then whenever people realize that it is 3 episodes spliced together, um, I have a theory. I think not only is it going to be 3 episodes spliced together, I think they're going to be poorly spliced together.
I'm wondering
Because
if this movie comes out this year because I think they didn't sign on the stars until very recently. So I mean,
yeah,
they're going to be filming it last minute. I could see this get pushed back into 2025.
which one, Moana or Sonic?
Moana,
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Um,
or unless The Rock is like hardly in the movie because I don't think they signed him until very recently.
that's
Um,
that's another thing. The Rock is starting to get a lot of hate, just in general, and not like in a heel way, like in WWE. Like people like just legitimately don't find The Rock likable at all at this point, which I find very interesting.
yeah,
Um, I
he,
get it. I get it. But
right.
it's just yeah. Um, I don't know. Like, the reason I bring this up, I was actually watching like one of those internet historian videos last night. I don't know if it was internet historian, but it was like internet historian. Uh, but yeah, at this point, I think The Rock has lost his likability. Um, and I think that as far as wrestlers gone actors, I think Cena and Batista have just they got him beat now.
But I think if you look at The Rock's WWF, WWE, whatever career, there's moments where he's loved, there's moments where he's hated. I think he's just in this phase where everybody's hating him, and he'll bounce back somewhere down the road.
Yeah, it's a little different though because in WWE, WWF, like he there's the heel,
Yeah.
and like you can still like the heel, you can like the bad guy. They're talking about just him as a person. Like this isn't him being a
And
heel. This is just
the,
him as a person.
the controversy with the Hawaii fundraiser with him and Oprah really did not help his reputation.
Yeah. And
It's a
then there's
mess. Yeah.
the fact that he keeps on forgetting that he's been to In and Out before. That's a weird one. Uh, have you seen that one?
No, but that's kind of a dumb thing. I don't remember where I've heard
No,
it.
no. It is a dumb thing. I just find it funny. So apparently, every couple of years, like he posts on Instagram, "Hey, this is my first time trying In and Out," and then a couple years later, my first time trying In and Out, and like people are like, "You've had In and Out before, dude. Why do you keep saying that?"
Well,
And
that's you're making a
I'm
big deal about it every time.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm just like, okay, so he's done it 3 times. If he does it a fourth time, legendary.
Yeah.
um, you know what's funny? We haven't talked about Sonic 3 at all. We've just been talking about Moana and The Rock. So Sonic 3, this is gonna be great. I mean, you got if anything, it's Keanu Reeves' Shadow the Hedgehog. That's all you need to know.
I need to see what fat suit Jim Carrey looks like.
Yeah, it's gonna
That
be.
could make or break the movie. So
Oh, no. Even if it's bad, it still makes the movie. Like
yeah.
it's gonna make or make the movie. Is it gonna make it in a good way or a bad way? But it will make the movie.
Let's talk about some movies we left off real quick. We got a little extra
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Uh, Imaginary Friends or whatever it's called.
yeah. That looks
This
bad.
movie's either I think it's going to bomb or it's going to be one of those movies that people just love for some stupid reason and just keep going to see.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like a ripoff of Foster Son for Imaginary Friends and Amazing World of Gumball. I mean, they literally have the banana character from Amazing World of Gumball walking around in the trailer. I'm like, it's the same character.
Now, hold on. Let's get one thing straight. You give me live action Frankie Foster, I'm buying a ticket. Okay.
Well, yeah, Frankie Foster. Um, what was the other one? Oh, I mean, we have to mention Despicable Me 4. That may be a $1 billion movie.
Is that coming out?
Like
Is
soon?
that
Yeah.
this? Really? That, you know what's weird? So I went on. I based my list off of Wikipedia. I did not see that on the Wikipedia page. That's
It comes
weird.
out like the next couple of months. It's coming out.
July 3rd. Oh, July 3rd. Yeah. This we might have.
That may be our $1 billion movie.
This might be something.
People love the Minions. Even if it's not a $1 billion movie, they're gonna make profit on.
Well, I mean, think about this. One of the $6 billion movies post-COVID is an Illumination movie.
Yeah, people cannot get of the Minions for whatever reason, and more power to them. I love the rabbits, so.
Will Ferrell is the bad guy. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's the Will Ferrell. Was it movie called Megamind? The direct to videos.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one that was definitely. Well, that one wasn't poorly edited together. That one was straight up a film made by AI.
Yeah, just an experiment that got out of the vault. They're like, oh, we didn't mean to release this. We were just trying it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Trying to think if there's anything else that works.
There's the Crayon movie, but I don't care.
Oh, the Purple Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah.
That looks like that should be like a Disney Plus movie.
Yeah, or like a straight to Netflix movie, something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And then there are a couple other movies that like are technically like going to Netflix. Like they're coming out. This is weird. Are you familiar with the Strangers movies?
Yeah, I mean, I know of them.
Yeah. So the Strangers and then the Strangers Pray at Night are two. They're horror movies in the home invasion genre. Very similar to like The Purge. So they're rebooting it. Netflix is rebooting the Stranger series, and they're releasing a trilogy this year. Not a movie this year. They're releasing a trilogy this year.
Oh, I didn't know all three were coming out this year.
Yeah. That's why whenever on my original list, how I took it off the list, because I'm like, well, these are Netflix movies, so like it's not going to affect the box office. But yeah, when I put Strangers chapters 1, 2, and 3, I meant they are all coming out this year.
That's while we were talking about Moana, for some reason I thought it was live action. No, this is animated. Moana
Right. No, legit Moana 2. It's not the live action Moana. It's the. So I think Moana 2 does come out this year.
Yeah. I misspoke. I thought it was live action for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, because you got to think about this. It's the TV show. It doesn't have any of the original cast members. Like, The Rock is not playing whoever he played. I didn't see Moana. So whoever he played. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like whenever it first came out, you were like, "Oh my god, it's like Wind Waker or something."
Yeah, it's fine. 2 more dark horses come out this year. They probably will not be huge successes, but I mentioned them. Wicked,
right,
might catch on. Who knows? And then
I think if anything, Wicked just makes a lot of money Christmas Day.
Probably.
It seems like one of those movies.
And then Lord of the Rings, War of whatever. There's some Lord of the Rings animated movie coming out here or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a direct to video and direct to HBO Max. That's another reason why I took it off.
I didn't know it was direct to HBO Max. Okay.
No, yeah, I don't think it's. Let me look it up. Oh, excuse me. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, it's being released. It's being released theatrically.
Is it
Yes.
really?
Yep.
That is odd. So why are they releasing that theatrically, but they're making Crisis on Infinite Earths direct to video? That seems really weird.
I don't know.
Because, like, I
But
mean, that's a really. It's Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it's your first three-parter.
so let's change it up. Out of the movies we listed, which ones will you be going to see in the theater?
Oh, honestly, it's hard to say because I mean, I wanted to see Fall Guy. I wanted to see uh the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Wow.
Uh, but money is definitely a thing.
Yes.
I can say which ones that I want to see in theaters.
Well, let's
I
say the ones you're definitely seeing. Like I'd say you're probably definitely going to see Sonic 3 and Deadpool.
Sonic 3, Deadpool, uh, Alien, and Joker. The,
So for
those,
me, it's probably
I'd like to say Furiosa, but that's one of those that may or may not. But honestly, everything else, I I can definitely watch at home and feel fine. Furiosa, if I don't see it in theaters, I'll be disappointed, but that is a possibility. Those other four, definitely seeing in theaters.
and what else have you seen in theaters this year?
Let me see what's come out this year.
You saw Dune, right?
Yeah, I saw Dune. Uh, Let me see. Um,
So for me, while you're looking, I think the only thing I saw was Frozen Empire. I don't think I've seen anything else.
I saw. Uh, I saw Dune. Um,
See, I will probably so this realistically, I saw Frozen Empire. I will most definitely see Deadpool, and I'll probably get dragged to Sonic 3. That's gonna be it for you. That's 3 movies for this year. And that, I mean, that's just my personal experience, but I think a lot of people just don't have the extra money to go to the movies. It's too expensive, especially when you have a family of 4.
oh, Cameron and I went to go see a Fathom event of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. That's not a new release. That was
Yeah,
the Fathom
I don't
event.
count
So
Fathom events. Fathom events are something different.
yeah,
That's like going to see a concert or something.
yeah.
Um, but I think, yeah, the average moviegoer is not going. Maybe they'll go 4 times to the movies this year. I think the box office is screwed this year. I really do. The movies we went over, most of the ones I think, oh, those probably make money, have already came out. Apes has already came out. Godzilla and Kong has already came out. Dune already came out. There's not a lot left on the slate that could make money.
Yeah.
I think that, and most of the ones that are, you know, uh, Warner Brothers related, like, well, they'll be on HBO Max in a month. What do I care? I'm not going to go to spend money at the theater. I've already got HBO Max.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this has more to do with because I definitely think that like quality of because I don't think it's just it's not just the price because Matt Nazar thing um you know discount Tuesdays are a thing.
I think,
uh,
but you got to add in high food prices right now are killing people. Food
bro,
prices are ridiculous right now.
yes, I question how much of this has to do with the fact that the writers have screwed over their own industry.
I think it's a combination of studios wanting sequels, pushing out sequels that we don't need, not just making run of the mill fun movies like comedies or whatever for pretty low budget. Everything is so high budget right now. We're coming off of a pandemic and a writer strike, and the economy sucks, and you don't have any good movies. It's a bad combination all around. And movies go on streaming. Well, let's say within 60 days, movies are on your streaming platform.
Yeah, and if not, 90 days, which is still not a long time.
Yeah, it's just a bad combination. I think the next massive movie hit will be Superman by James Gunn next year. It's just not good because what does Marvel have next year? Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts, maybe Fantastic Four. Although I think that got pushed back.
How do you feel about Bob Iger coming out and saying, okay, so we're going to limit ourselves. We've come out with too much stuff. We're going to do 3 movies and 2 shows. And I'm like, I feel like that's what you've been doing.
That was not what they were planning to do, but everything got screwed over because of the writer's strike. But now it's kind of like, oh, well, this is the norm now. And you've got to make shows that people want. I think people like X-Men 97, something people want. I don't know if people are watching it, but it's something people want. They don't want Agatha. I mean, I like the character, but I don't want a show about her.
I mean, I'm kind of down with it just because I loved that theme song.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, Catherine Hahn's just hilarious.
Yeah,
I'll definitely watch that. I'm not gonna say so. Here's the thing with the Agatha show. I wouldn't have asked for one, but I ain't mad about it.
right, but I don't know. I think Disney's just in real trouble. And I won't turn this into a Disney bashing session, but you look at all the studios. I think they're all in trouble. I think Paramount's in trouble. I mean, they're for sale right now. Everybody's bidding on them. Warner Brothers is trying to right the ship, but they're making crazy decisions that people hate, so people are turning on the brand. Their video games crashed with Suicide Squad and stuff, so that cost them a lot of money.
Yeah, and they're not marketing their Dune MMO at all. Like, who here knew there was a Dune MMO coming out?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I probably saw the trailer, and I've already forgotten about it.
Exactly. like a Dune MMO should be like your flagship video game at this point because Dune is such a hit and MMOs are like all the rage right now with WoW coming back and everyone loving Final Fantasy 14. Like you come out with a Dune MMO, that should be like your main ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what do you think becomes of entertainment? Do you think it's going to be more like are we just done with long form entertainment? Because
I think that you're going to see going to the cinema change. It has to. It has to be more like a Fathom event type of format where it's almost like an Alamo Draft House, like specialty theaters, where it's a big deal. You go there, you get to justify the price. It's comfortable seating, dinner, more of a going out type thing, and I think the modern movie theater is going to die. It's going to change into something else.
So, because here's the thing, I don't want entertainment to just become fan films and YouTube vlogs. I don't want it to just become that. But
I think we're heading that way.
oh my god, I mean, like
Once AI gets put in the hands of everybody and everybody can make their own movies, then I think Hollywood studios completely done. Unless they really lock down not being able to use their characters, which they'll try to do, but there's so many ways around it.
yeah. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I I might put this on the docket on the Google Doc. I don't like fan films. I think fan films usually suck, and so like if we do a fan film show, it's just going to be me crapping on all the fan films. I know some people like fan films because they feel like they're getting what they rightfully deserve, um, but
I don't watch a whole lot of them, but I mean, I think the best one was Troops, and it hasn't peaked since then. I mean, that was been what 20 years ago.
what's that one?
Troops, the cops parody of Star Wars,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
Well, and like I can kind of get down with parodies. I'm just talking about like Spider-Man Lotus. Like, have you heard of that one?
no, I have no control.
I'll have to send you a video on that. But like it's I don't know. I feel like people are starting to make fan films like not out of love but out of spite.
Yeah,
Um,
there's exceptions. That Team Fortress animation thing that we watched, I can't remember what it's
yeah.
called.
Emesis Blue, that was fantastic.
Yeah,
Uh, there definitely are exceptions, but like, yeah, it's obvious they love Team Fortress 2. Like Spider-Man Lotus is a fan film that was born because someone hated Spider-Man Homecoming so much.
I think fan films work if the person loves material and they're talented. That's the key. They
Yes.
have to be a talented filmmaker. You can have the
Yeah.
best idea in the world, but if you're not talented, it's going to crap. you know. So
Yeah. I think the most talented fan filmmaker is probably Bat in the Sun, Aaron Schoenke or Aaron Shirka. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he does like those superpower beatdowns, and
yeah,
he did
yeah.
City of Scars. Uh, he's actually working on, and this is actually a movie that's not on the list, but I'm really excited for it. It actually technically is an original. It's called Legend of the White Dragon. Have you seen this? Uh, it
Familiar, but I don't know.
Okay, so Legend of the White Dragon is Jason David Frank's final on-screen
Yes, yes, I do
appearance.
know what you're talking about. Yes.
Okay, okay. I'm excited for that. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know if that's considered a fan film that's going to be on YouTube, or if like we're gonna have to pay for it. I'll pay for it. Like I'll definitely watch it. Um, but yeah, like as far as fan filmmakers, Bat in the Sun and Aaron Shirka is
Uh,
the only guy I trust.
I can't think of their names. There's a couple of guys that Wendigoon hypes up all the time. Some of those guys that are doing the backroom films and Oldest View and all those movies.
Yeah,
Uh, Kane, I think is his name. Like I think those are kind of like your next generation starting to come up. They're going to, they'll cut their teeth on YouTube, and then you'll see them actually start making
yeah,
bigger movies.
yeah. I mean, that's definitely where we're headed. I mean, the director of the Shazam movies. I didn't see the second one, but the first Shazam movie was really good. He was a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Uh, then you've got I think Radio Silence, who do a lot of horror movies. I think they were YouTubers. Then there's
And look,
it's a lot of horror YouTubers that are becoming horror filmmakers. So I think out of any genre, and I think we can agree because we both watched Late Night with the Devil, and Late Night with the Devil uh, definitely did not have the biggest budget. I think horror movies are safe.
oh, yeah, definitely. Horror movies are fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
but to get back to the topic at hand, I don't see anything this year that saves the box office.
yeah.
Uh, well, hopefully the economy will improve next year, and then movies will come bouncing back stronger. Like I said, I think Superman and maybe once Fantastic Four comes out,
Hmm.
I think Mandalorian and Grogu could be a surprise hit, but it's way down the road. So we'll see. the big thing is the cinemas, the box off, the theater chains have to survive. That's where my concern is. I don't know how many theaters survived this year. We saw a lot of them shut down after COVID.
Hmm.
We saw some more shut down during the writer strike. I just don't know if they can hang on.
We had a bunch pop up after COVID here in Louisville. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's probably a lot of empty buildings after COVID. So be like,
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
that's
I
definitely a
can
thing.
flip this into a theater and try to make it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that's our show for the day because I got to get on the road.
Yep.
Next week, we will be recapping X-Men 97.
Yeah.
We're going to make our predictions of where it's heading for season 2. And we're going to talk about any potential spinoffs we might like to see from the X-Men 97, or do we want just to be its own thing? So we'll talk about all that next week. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll probably be a pre-recorded show because Caleb is going to be dancing with Beetlejuice. But until then, please join us next week, Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Please like and share, subscribe. If we get to 1,000 subscribers, all kinds of fun stuff will unlock on YouTube. We'll become a much better channel at that point.
Okay.
So until then, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
And this has been the Shark, or I'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond. See ya.